Let's start. I'm a lead developer at BaseALT company, and today I'll try to tell you about our efforts on group policy application using Samba. There will be also a little demo at the end, and feel free to correct my English. It's all started in last quarter of 2019. Our team was seeking for a way to improve Samba's Active Directory domain integration. Our customers frequently asked us about instruments of group policy application and about graphical utilities to edit domain structure and group policy objects. We've had nearly zero expertise because none of us have ever seen the Active Directory domain. Uh, we were all hardcore Linux users. At first, we have inspected Samba code for functions to synchronize GPOs, functions to get assigned GPO list to the specific seed, and functions to read registry.pol files from group policy templates. And we found Python bindings, and we decided to use it. And our first project was group policy applier. Uh, uh, we've also had the strict requirements for code portability because we run it not only AMD 64 architecture machines, but also on ARM and MIPS processors produced by Baikal Electronics. We've running Samba on Elbrus E2K processors produced by Moscow Institute of Spark Technology. We use PowerPC machines made by Yadro company, and we even using Raspberry Pi machines, models 3 and 4. All kind of machines running Samba and trying to integrate with Active Directory. We were able to implement the working applier in about 3 months. But the next problem arose was to allow any user to update settings forcefully and at any time for machine and for the user itself, and for and in attempt to solve privilege escalation problem, we designed the dbus daemon called oddjob gpupdate. It's a simple, very simple daemon having two functions, and the only function it does is to trigger the real GPO applier. The next task was to implement defaults for various distribution, and we've done it via local policy primitive. You, I believe, you've seen the local policy assigned to users, and we've designed such a policy, which is in our case, is a GPO directory located in USR share local policy distribution name, which contains files in Samba archive format. And we've also developed a set of ADMX and ADML files, which you can load into RSAT, for example, and configure the target operating system, Linux system, using convenient instruments. So that's all about our gpupdate utility. The project itself is called GPOA, GPO applier. We have our recent goal about this project is to merge it into the Samba code base because it is based on Samba code base. We believe we can achieve this goal with the help of David. David, hello. uh, so, but that's not all. This is not the end. The next project is ADMC. Uh, we have a goal for designing graphical instruments for domain, and our first successful experience with GPOA applier made us believe that we will be able to implement graphical instruments too. And despite numerous requirements about design and web user interface, we decided to implement classic client in C++ with Qt5 graphical library. All the instruments are distribution independent. You may build it for your favorite distribution and use it freely. Everything is open source. So we started it in at the beginning of 2020. And after a year of efforts, we gladly present you the ADMC project. Uh, that's how it looks. Uh, it's the old version on my screenshot, and I will demonstrate you the new version after the presentation. We have looked at RSAT and found that it is a bit overcomplicated. We had no requirements for supporting of for support of legacy user interfaces, and decided to write the best, the most effective interface, the most simple interface for domain administrators we can. And we believe it's RSAT that everyone is asking for. It looks similar to RSAT. It does similar functions, but it's open source and it's working on Linux systems. I believe it may be built for other operating systems like Solaris, like BSDs. We believe we may try to do it, and we write a portable code. And there is a recent project which is a work in progress at the moment. We're trying to implement a group policy template editor. This we already have the instrument to apply group policies on client. Modular instrument. We already has instrument to work on domain structure, graphical instrument, and now we want the instrument to edit group policy templates from Linux systems. Simple instrument with ADMX file support. I believe we will be able to present it in about half a year, maybe a year. And I invite you to join our experiment in this case. So that's all about our projects, and our future plans are merging our GPOA project into Samba code base, into Samba upstream. We want to, during the merging our code base, we're decided to implement Python bindings for Samba registry. I like the Samba registry utility. It's a nice thing. I like ncurses interface personally. And I'm doing these bindings implementation under David Mulder's supervision. We are planning to release first GPO editor user interface, standalone. No need for web servers, no need for databases, no backdoors. Everything is running on administrator's machine under administrator's account. Um, and our GPO applier and ADMC has a modular structure, and we believe we will be able to adapt it to support free EPA and implement free EPA policy support in the future. Uh, so that's all regarding my presentation. And I also have some uh, programs running at the moment. Um, can you see my screen?
Yes.
That's nice. So let's see if it's working. Yeah. At the moment, ADMC requires kinit performed from CLI, and I did kinit for domain administrator. At the moment I have domain administrator Kerberos tickets, and ADMC is started using these tickets. And here is our test domain. That's simple help. That's our modern interface. It also translated into English and Russian languages. I invite you to translate it into other languages. I will try to help you as much as we can. So, what can we do? We can, I believe, we can see some properties. We can move objects, create users and machines. So which properties we can see? Descriptions. Descriptions are nice. Distinguished names, attributes. There is lots of attributes, and there is also a password somewhere here. Mm. I am sorry. I'm not very familiar with all interface nuisances, but my colleagues are more experienced with this. But I believe most of fields are editable. Um, my colleague Evgeny suggests me to show drag and drop, allow deny login. So, for example, we have a low login group, and we have a user called add GPO test, and I believe we can drag and drop it here. Oh, there is a nice log. Oh, so this user now belongs to a group called hello login. Let's try to see the properties. Where should I look at? Oh, distinguished name changed. Member of domain users. So add group. Oh, which kind of group? It's trying to find the group. Yay! There is a group of administrators. Wow. Now our user at GPO test is a member of built-in group called administrators. So My computer is a bit slow. The drag and drop function is also available for computer primitives. I believe we can create computers too. New user computer, even organization. Uh, uh, I believe you can try everything itself. The interface is rather simple. So, and we also has a GPOA utility um, about this interface. We have GPOA project. It's written in Python. It's based on Samba Python bindings. CLV0 is our test domain client, and we have GPOA utility, gpupdate utility in USR bin. It's a dbus client which triggers odd-job gpupdate. You may call this utility from your current user. And the dbus client will trigger group policy update for machine or for user who called the function. The program is called is located USR bin GPOA. It's a real group policy template applier. It's triggered via odd-job GP update with escalated privileges, with the root privileges. User is isolated from it. We have implemented, we have done some login improvements. Each of these steps performed by the utility has its own error code, debug, warning, or something like that. It allows us to assign to find the problems faster. It allows us to translate messages in various languages. As you can see, I am calling the utility with English locale because this machine has Russian locale, and we may see the Russian text in logs. And for everyone, I am running the utility with English logs, but debug message codes are all the same. So you can say, for example, oh, I have error debug message code 21. What does it mean? And we are able to find the problematic code part very fast. So what are we doing here? I tried to trigger policy update for administrator. We're printing the information that the process was started with root privileges, that we found the domain called domain alt, that we found the machine name and machine seed. One more note, we are using SSSD in alt Linux, but we're also able to work with WinBind. SSSD is just more convenient in our cases. We have a primitive of registry, which allows us to implement policy settings fetchers. At the moment it is Samba, but we are planning to implement a policy fetcher for free IPA, and the registry is needed to store settings independently from the settings source, and it allows our policy applier code to work without knowledge of the source of the settings. And so the interesting message is GPO update started. We received 3 group policy objects, and we're starting to parse policy files. So here we have local policy, which is located on our machine. We have some policy called default domain policy. We have a policy called GPO test. We're trying to find various preferences files, XML files. We're trying to find registry.vol files. And after we've found some files, we're merging the files into the registry. And after the replication is finished, we're trying to run the policy appliers. Each applier knows about specific registry keys, options, values, which it reads, and tries to reinterpret what, for example, we have a shortcut applier which allows us to have shortcuts on desktop. We're at the moment we support ordinary shortcuts to local files and Samba URIs. We have appliers for made desktop environment, which allows us to set screensaver, timeout, wallpaper, and enable and disable screensaver. Alt Linux heavily uses control framework, which is, I believe, imported from OpenWall Linux distribution a long time ago. And it's our main facility to work with registry keys. So that's really all. I'm stop sharing the screen. Any questions? Oh, I can see a question from Alexander.
No, this is not a question. It's just explanation what a job is.
Our program called oddjob gpupdate is definitely written looking at oddjob code, but it's a separate project as far as I know. But thanks to Red Hat team for such a nice diamond, which helped us a lot. About structured logging, it was mostly my idea because I like how it is done in Oracle database. Because when you're trying to solve a problem, you just Google for the specific error code, and you can find tons of receipts. And while designing the logging, such kind of logging, I believed that in case our instrument will gain a wide audience, there will be lots of questions on Stack Overflow, and the error codes will allow us to find solutions easily. Yeah, my colleague Evgeny says that we also have a PAM module, which allows us to trigger oddjob GP update on user login. We are heavily using SSSD and PAM to trigger this functionality. So on machine start, oddjob GP update is triggered every 60 minutes using systemd unit. And it fetches and applies group policies for machine. And when user logs in, PAM module triggers systemd unit which refreshes group policies for the specific user. So also thanks to systemd authors, they have helped us a lot. So any questions? So no questions, and that's really everything I can say about our projects. Write us emails.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, just had to get the camera on. So you've got the group policy things. I'm trying to understand. I heard mention of the relationship with David Mulder's work, but I don't quite understand the connection of that and the other group policy things that we've got. Can you explain that a little bit more tightly?
We are working with David, trying to merge our GPOA code base into Samba. I am using SQLite 3 as a registry because in 2019 I wasn't able to find registry bindings for Samba, registry bindings for Python. And I was also unable to find public header files, C header files for registry. I looked at Samba code, and all we have was a functionality to replicate group policy templates and query the domain name via CLDAP requests. I'm at the moment I'm trying to implement Python bindings for source 3 Samba registry, which is also used by Samba regedit utility. After we will be able to implement these bindings, we will be able to seamlessly integrate our GPO applier code into Samba. What is needed is a registry implementation. Our code is rather modular, and all that I need is a new backend. I will wrap Samba registry bindings.
And once you write to the Samba registry, what does that? Can you explain to me a bit more what that achieves? Because I mean, on Linux system, always nothing reads the registry. Samba's use of it is mostly to for shares and bizarre things there. Yeah.
So Andrew, if you want, we can talk more, and I can explain to you how we're working on the integration and the need for a registry backend. It's I'm going to mention it briefly in my talk here in a few minutes. Also,
okay,
that might help a little bit. But yeah, you and I can talk offline. I can show you some of the stuff that we're doing and how we're integrating this.
Okay, it's good that you've got a plan on how to merge these things. I always worry a little bit with. It's awesome seeing these new contributions and things from companies and people I haven't come across before, but I always worry because it's very hard to, someone's got their new thing and it's different enough from Samba that it's hard for us to integrate, and then we don't give anyone a useful experience. So I'm just trying to understand how it fits and how we can fit in, which comes to my last question, which is the Qt based system that for the Active Directory user computer replacement, is that using Samba libraries for any of its parts, or is it just a standalone application entirely just talking LDAP and Kerberos?
As far as I know, we don't use any Samba libraries for Qt5 applications, but we are not trying to merge Qt5 applications code into Samba.
No, just trying to understand where it fits.
My colleague says that we are using libsmb client at the moment in ADMC.
Yeah, as you would.
So, but it's written in C++, so
Yeah.
I believe it won't fit in Samba.
Yeah.
As for group policy applier, I can send you my attempts at code rewrites at my future pull request for code review.
Well, this is very exciting to see. People have asked for GUI applications to be managing Samba for years. There's a few attempts around, as we've seen with the cockpit thing. There's an attempt which isn't. There's a company called Exotech in India which has been writing a GUI. Sadly, India is not in a good way at the moment. They were promising to do a public release soon. I think other things have kind of taken priority. So it's been nice to see these attempts, and there's we've had some fits and starts in the past with like there's a GTK bindings for LDB that again never went anywhere. So we really appreciate people taking a go at this, and the thing I want to try and figure out how we can do as a project is how to support you enough that your projects continue. So that it has a life longer than the initial development phase when you've got the funding and time to get things going. The trick is getting things going to a sustainable long-term project. And I continue to hope we can try and find some good partnership we can do with these projects that are around Samba, so that our users can find them well. And so that we can have a broader set of things that we encourage people to use around Samba as a bit of a standard set of tools, and hopefully your tooling can be part of that. Don't feel you have to merge something into Samba, but do work hard with us to make sure that it's stays close to our ecosystem. Good descriptions on our wiki page on how to install it and use it. Those kind of things I think could help, because too many other GUI projects have died on the vine, and I wouldn't want that to happen to yours as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
The one thing I wanted to highlight here is that this project is really like a 3 different pieces together. So there is a server-side integration to the domain controller, and this is what David and Igor are looking into. Then there is a management console like ADMC, and the one thing that is also important is applying the GPOs to the client side, which is done in a way that allows us to see this integration seamlessly for any kind of a domain controller we have on Linux or on Active Directory on Microsoft side. So it's kind of allowing you to manage the policies for Samba AD in your Microsoft AD environment, and then apply changes and interpret these changes according to Linux environment, which wasn't really something existing before. So SSSD had the rules to apply some of these changes itself, but not as comprehensive as this project does. And also the local policies that this project has, they go way beyond just access controls or simple G settings manipulation for GNOME environment that we already have with the Fleet Commander. So this is really getting to expand how flexible you can both manage and apply the settings and move forward. If you're migrating from Microsoft Active Directory implementation to Samba and migrating from Windows to Linux, then you can smoothly move the policies. And this is very important to real world implementations. I really applaud to the work that the guys are doing on this. Really, thank you.
Thanks, Alexander.